And my heart goes boom, boom, boom. And my heart goes boom, boom, boom.
So, Sunny, Tranjeet, before the break, we just touched on the importance of self-talk. Sunny, you were saying that just to be able, in the right environment, be able to talk to someone and get it off, get the weight off, is a massive a support thing in itself.
That's right.
Irrespective of what is shared,
That's right.
just to be able to vent it out.
Yeah.
And Tranjeet, so is that a normal case where a lot of people, they want to say a lot, but they don't have the opportunity, as Sunny put it, are unable to say it in the right environment?
Absolutely, it's all about ourselves, how we kind of feel, and that's where the confidence kind of goes low when we're self-talking to ourselves. Like you just to give the example where you're out and you're thinking, oh, what am I doing here? I feel uncomfortable.
I end up looking at the table plans just to make out I'll keep myself busy.
Because what it is, we're not comfortable within ourselves.
Yeah.
When we're actually talking to ourselves and telling ourselves what's what we're about and what we want, we're actually saying, oh, this is not good for us. I'm rubbish at being in front of people talking. I'm rubbish at going into a function like you went into and being on my own. I have to always be talking. But really, until you're really comfortable within yourself and confident with yourself, then you can just go anywhere. And even if you are quiet, or even if you are a chatty person, it doesn't matter. You have to really be comfortable within your own skin. Until you're comfortable in your own skin, then you're going to really feel it doesn't matter if I'm chatting, if I'm quiet. Just be yourself, and that is by your actual own mind.
That's
What
right.
you're actually saying to yourself, are you actually saying, why am I not talking? Why am I not communicating? I should be talking. I shouldn't be standing on my own. So those types of things you should eliminate by actually always being mindful of your thoughts. So thoughts
Think
become
positively all the time, and make sure you dispel negativity, and try to talk about it. Talking about it takes a lot of weight off your off your mind, and perhaps somebody can assist you in realigning your thoughts to positiveness. Because when you've got a lot of things going on in your life, because look, man is just not made, as an entity. They are affected by socio-cultural, economic, and there's a whole heap of
health, everything, well-being, everything.
Spirituality.
social background, cultural
yeah.
background. There's a whole heap of things that is that that if you look
Impacts
at
your
it
life,
altogether, that affects a human being. And the thing is, if you can discuss your problems openly, and this happens in relationships as well, where there is communication breakdown, then sometimes it could be a catalyst for disaster, because people then start fighting, and you see people that have got issues with domestic violence and those. But if people can talk about it and look at rationale behind their behavior, at times it helps. And perhaps when you reverse the role, you behave in a certain way, and if you reverse that role, and if your partner behave in that way, perhaps you will feel somehow. So if you put yourself in other people's shoes from time to time,
The empathy.
And to be able to understand and discuss
Empathize with
things,
that person, and actually really feel how they're
and
feeling.
communicate.
Yes.
Communication
And
is
that's
the
we've
key.
spoken about that quite a lot. Communication is effective if you communicate in a relationship, or in any kind of relationship, whether it be a marriage, whether it be in a relationship, whether it be in parenting, or anything, business, career,
I think
jobs.
the key word that's been used, like from the genericness of communication, the specificness of empathy. Empathy means that I'm not judging you. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say. Whereas there's a lot of times in everyday life, people don't understand what you want to say. They're waiting for you to finish so they can say their bit, and it's already pre-packaged.
It's the pressures that is outside of that marriage, because or partnership, or it could even be business relationship.
Of course.
Because you see, most times people are affected by what is going on around them. They may have
The environment, it's the environment,
Yeah.
and that impacts a lot of our life. So
That's
if you're, like you just mentioned, if you're in a relationship where there's abuse, that environment's impacting you, mentally, physically as well, emotionally, and it's all about those elements and how you can actually really kind of really connect and try to get out of that situation, that environment, and make your environment you
or
know,
perhaps to remedy that
that's
situation,
right, yeah.
you know, by communicating.
Yeah, communication is effective, but equally you have to really, you know, I always think, you know, our emotions really indicate where we're at. You know, however we're feeling and thinking as well, really kind of indicate where we are in our life.
Which is why I actually like what you actually give back to the people, because you help them to align their thoughts, to look at what is going on, to look at it. And because you see, every time you talk about certain things, you know, you get a feedback.
Yes.
And that feedback, even, you know, you do certain things that you're not supposed to do or to have done,
Or the mistakes you make.
or the mistakes you made, and all of a sudden you know, when you think back about it, you say, oh, did I really do that?
You're not aware.
Then you go like
and
this
that's-
and oh,
Yeah,
Oh, you know.
oh God.
because we haven't got the
And we've
awareness.
done plenty of times like, oh God. But you know, but there's a loveliness in that, because at least by playing it out, you're also taking it out, you're letting it go.
Yes.
Releasing
Some
your-
people,
It's not
you
just
know,
that.
some people hold it in,
Yeah.
and they cannot even bring themselves to express that they've made a mistake.
Yes.
And that is more dangerous. You know, to keep it in and go, then you know
It's
that
building
is
up,
dangerous.
isn't
That is
it?
dangerous.
That's
'Cause
building up,
You know,
yeah.
because to keep that in, and we discussed this yesterday, Sonny, is like, this is how sometimes cancer's caused. You know, like the whole negative emotions that are going on.
Any illness
you know,
causing your body,
And
yeah.
it causes
Negativity.
many illnesses.
Of course.
You know.
So it was,
But,
it's always
but
good
to
to
do that, Sonny, I respect that. As long as it's just that. But you know, there's also you know, as part of this, you know, from the Sonny touched on about culturally, communities. You know, we all have ancestors. You know, and when my father and his brother and the fellow people, that generation came in the 60s. You know, there's a famous book written called The Myth of Return. Because when they left Pakistan and those villages and that feudal life where the money was scarce, you know, they left they left their brothers, their sisters, their mothers and their fathers. And they came over as single men to say, listen, we will come back one day, but we'll come back and we're going there to feed you. We'll come back one day. And that's why this book was written. It's called The Myth of Return. They never returned. They never returned. So it's like my
huge
uncle.
sacrifice.
Yeah, huge. And so my uncle once said when I was much younger, he said, son, I came here to feed my parents and my brothers and sisters. I ended up getting married and having children, and my focus changed. And he goes, I can't forget them, and they're not letting me forget that I came for them. But you see what's happened, when you have children, your focus changes, your responsibility changes, and your economics changes. And I remember many years when the first time as a 15-year-old when I went back to Pakistan, an old lady in the village, she goes, are you so-and-so son? And she's literally old on a walking stick, literally, but she could barely talk and walk. She goes, you so-and-so son? I go, yes. She goes, you just tell your father one thing. He forgot about us. He forgot us. That's the only message I want you to tell your father.
Wow.
You know, like, this old
That's
lady,
very powerful, isn't
because
it?
you know, and this is about the myth of return.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm saying it in this context is that these are also, you know, in our communities, the kind of responsibilities people have of the people back home. The people back home. I mean, I was trying to remember, you know, we have a friends and a family WhatsApp group. And, you know, we talk about someone who nearly lost their job, but the job got saved here. I said, that's good. We are happy now. I'm glad you saved your job. I'm glad you still got your job. And I'm glad you're still on your £1,500 a month. I said, but don't forget, your brother-in-law in Pakistan earns £30 a month. So now that you're glad that your job's been saved, just I hope you can have some positivity towards the person who earns £30 a month. Because, but you know, getting back to what we carry here, you know, these are the things that our elders carry.
Yeah.
Because they can't forget them.
No.
They still have to feed them. They still, have, you know, and
Because
yes,
they were the first generation, weren't
Yes.
they? They were the first generation that come
but can you
into
see
this
Tranjeet?
country.
So that when it comes to
Absolutely.
like relationships,
Yeah,
and
it impacts
family,
a lot. Yeah, it goes back. Goes back.
People
Yeah.
that hasn't gone out the memory, and
Yeah.
I think we get so subsumed by this life in
Yeah.
England and all the, and you know we not that we have multi-millions money, but we
But we're
forget,
earning,
we
well, yeah,
forget
yeah,
how
yeah.
even our own cousins or our own brothers and sisters in another part of the world are living on £30 a month.
But I don't entirely agree with that, because you see, when you come over here, you still, even if you try to forget, like you said earlier, the people over there, they're not going to let you forget.
Yes.
They will still call you,
Yeah, the
and they will
dependency
still tell
culture.
you this. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you can't move away from that. And yes, it's something that is happening every day. It's been happening for very many years. People come here in the hope of good life, and as a result of that, they forget,
Well, they forget because
they
they're trying to
couldn't
build.
get back.
Yeah, they're trying to
Yeah.
build
The
their
myth of
actual
return.
life. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the
but they're
myth of
trying to
return.
build their own life here,
Yes.
aren't they? So
Yeah.
it's very difficult for them to actually think about back home when they're actually starting all
Subsumed,
over.
yeah, yeah.
Well, the thing is, they're starting all over again. Our parents started all over again, so it's very difficult. Even though they probably were sending money over there and
And
trying
still
to build,
do.
and they
Still
still
do.
do. So I think, yeah, it's very important to remember that they were still building their life for their children.
That's right.
And so we will be doing the same, I suppose, aren't we? It's going to carry on, isn't it? So really, we kind of forget the actual essence of what we're here to do.
And
The purpose.
So Tranjeet, when you're doing your coaching on families and coaching on relationship, do these kind of things come into the fore at all?
A lot of cultural, issues do come up, but I always think
They're very
not to
vital.
focus on the past, because the past it could be hurtful. So I try to kind of get people to focus on the present, because what happens, I understand what you were saying, but I do think that if you keep worrying about people back home and people, I do totally agree, serving others, that's my purpose. But when you start saying, or people back home start saying, oh, they never did anything for me, and like you just mentioned, that lady says, your dad forgot us,
Yes.
that's where I think that's the negativity that comes into it, because your dad had other focuses, to deal with, other things to deal with, his family. So I always think you've got to live in the present. And when you live in the present, you don't become, frustrated about the past, or frustrated or upset or angry. If you live here and now, you're going to create your future. So when having a positive mindset right now, here and now, you're creating a positive future, and the rest, the past has happened, the rest will be okay.
Well, Tranjeet, on that note, we'll take our final break, and when we
Thank
come
you,
back, we'll try and get some tips about, future strategies,
Okay.
like preventative measures,
Okay,
not reactive measures,
Yeah.
where you can give us preventative insight of the kind of things that we can do in our relationship, or anyone can do in their
Healthy relationship.
to create a healthy relationship.
Okay.
We'll take a
Of
short
course,
break.
yeah, thank you.
And my heart goes boom, boom, boom. And my heart goes boom, boom, boom.
So, before the break, we were talking about the different strategies of what happens in relationships and signposting people to make things better. Tranjeet, what are the key fundamental things that, with viewers watching these programs, of the kind of things you can say to people in relationships, couples, married couples, people in relationships full stop, of what are the pillars, the fundamental pillars of a strong positive relationship? What proactive things can people do?
Okay, firstly, I always think start changing yourself. You're thinking about that person, the negative thoughts you're having about that person, why you feel anger or frustration from that person. First, take it inwards. How are you behaving? What are you thinking of? What are you doing? So any frustration you're getting from that person, it's not them, it's you. It's a reflection of you. So if they're annoying you, if they're saying the wrong thing to you, or they're not, being supportive in your job, or supportive in the home with the children, looking after the children, or even doing household chores, and that's really frustrating, for you, and that's causing. Look at yourself. What are you actually doing, as well, and then also communicate with them and tell them how you're feeling. So firstly, look at yourself. You're a mirror of yourself when you're actually pointing out the negatives of other people. And secondly, I think it's really important that you actually express how you're feeling, and how you can make things positive within your home, and changing your mindset, and be that security guard of your mind, and be very aware mindful of your
The
thoughts.
security guard
yeah.
of your mind. I like
Yeah,
that.
and be very mindful.
Get this security firm for your own brain.
Yeah.
Keep it in check.
Stop.
Keep an eye on it 24,
So you're stopping
24 hours a day.
Or someone else, you know, gave me the strategy is when you're thinking negatively, just press there, and anything negative thought about that person, just press delete, delete, delete 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, it will work. It works. So you got a negative thought about somebody, you just go delete, delete, delete. You know.
Yeah, when Jab was saying, yes, my buttons are about to fly out.
Or
I'm not sure if I can forget that.
Or you know, shout to yourself, stop it.
Yes,
you know,
yeah.
stop it. You know,
Yeah.
and that means stop talking negative to yourself,
Yeah.
and that is going to stop those negative thought patterns occurring. So in your relationship, when you start changing your mind about that person, you know. Firstly, having, you know, stopping those negative thoughts, you're going to start looking at a different eye. So what I'm trying to say, your eyes, you'll take those negative eyes out and put the positive ones in. So you're going to actually not see any conflict with that person, because you're thinking, actually, I'm going to actually see the positives in that person. I'm going to start, you know, really kind of looking at all the positive qualities about them. And when you start that, like the scenario when he come, you know, husband or wife comes from work, you can actually see the positives and thinking, you know, and start saying good things to them, and start actually really wanting to know how they are and how they're feeling, and really.
No, I can relate to that. I remember, I think about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was really the depth of my despair about lots of things weren't happening. And I thought, Raja, from now on, when you get up, throughout the whole day, every day, you keep that smile. You keep that smile and you keep positive. And I thought, I don't care whatever situation comes, you keep positive. Just whatever interaction you're having, take it positively.
Yeah.
But, you know, by saying that to myself every morning, right?
Affirmations,
it worked,
like we said,
because you know, and a lot of positive things started happening back.
Yeah.
Because I was always looking for the positivity, even in some of the most difficult situations.
got it.
What about you, son? You all strike me. That's why I think our friendship, we've had such a long friendship. You know, you're a very positive person. You know,
Yes,
you never give up. I love your positivity. And you know, like, there's been a world recession, and some people have, you know, like committed suicide in the 2008 crash. You know, my friend Afzal was saying that, you know, multimillionaires, you know, like some killed one particular one killed his partner just out of the pressure of losing things.
Pressure. There's a lot of pressure in this world, so we have to really be careful. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
What brings that smile to your face every day? You always have this sense of positivity.
Everybody says
in your
that.
aura. In your aura.
Everybody says that. I've got a lot of positivity about me. I don't believe in negativity. I believe that negativity is not going to achieve anything positive. And because of that, I tend to take every day as it comes, and you know, I set my goals, and I have a mindset that things will be okay.
Yeah.
And you know, I should just keep moving, keep working hard, and you know, everything else will fall into place accordingly. But it's all about how you program your mind. You know, if you think negative, you're only going to get pure negativity. And if you think positive, pure positiveness will come to you.
And do you think about it as a daily basis? Do you go, right, come on, Sonny, here we go?
I just refuse to be defeated.
Yes.
And I'm not a defeatist. So, you know, irrespective of what life throws at you, you need to stand strong and
hold steady
and face it. And, you know, if you keep on throwing it against the wall, one of them is definitely going to stick one of the days.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of people that have become multimillionaires. You see, my father always says to me that, you know, this our life is full of striking illustrations of people who emerge victorious from the vicissitudes and wreckages of life. And what that means, I can break it into 3 parts. This our life is full of striking illustrations. So if you see a lot of people that have become multimillionaires or have made it in life, if you go and ask them how they managed to get there, if they tell you their story, I'm telling you, you won't want to share half of what they went through.
Yeah.
So it's full of striking illustrations of people who emerge victorious from the vicissitudes and wreckages of life. So these are people that have made money. There are people that have had, you know, 20 companies, and different ideas didn't work, and then they hit one that actually works, and their life changed altogether. And so, being positive, a lot of people are, a lot of people have, passed away or moved on or died, or you know, and you are still here. And when there's
Yes.
life, there's hope.
Yes.
So positiveness is the only way,
Absolutely.
and that I'm always smiling.
Yeah.
No, that's a great insight, Sunny. That also reminds me, Tranjeet, you probably, I'm not sure if you follow boxing, but there's a world famous fighter called Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah, I do.
And you know,
I like
he
boxing.
had an interview last year with Ricky Hatton.
Yeah.
I think it's Claire Balding was interviewing both of them. And he was so calm within himself. And he goes, look, I'm a different Mike Tyson. Because I was a young man from the street, a young man who was an orphan, etc., etc., you know, and who lived in care and had lots of issues. But he goes, right now, in this stage of my life, even though I haven't got the millions I had, I squandered a lot of millions. People screwed me for multi-millions. But he goes, I'm the happiest I am in my life right now. And he goes, I will never give that up for anything. And I think that says a lot as
It's
well.
all about the
'Cause
contentment, isn't it?
He's learned to be content,
Yeah,
to use that word,
content and
within
peace.
himself.
Yeah.
That is actually
That's
very
the key thing,
yeah,
isn't it?
because I met Mike Tyson,
Yeah.
you know, with another friend of ours, Joe Egan, and you know, I find him to be very humble.
Yes.
And
Yes.
by virtue of the experiences he's had,
Yes.
he has been at the pinnacle of boxing.
Yeah.
Striking things,
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
say.
yeah.
And you know, if you look at the story, now the striking illustrations
Yes,
comes
yeah,
in.
yeah, exactly.
It's full of striking illustrations.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
So that striking illustration is what is coming about.
Yeah.
You see, you see so many people that will be around you when things are good, when your cards
Yes.
are on the up,
when
and-
the cards are down,
and when
that's
the
it,
cards
yeah.
are down.
Yeah, the phone stops ringing, as they say.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
and
yeah.
then you will be at peace actually, because there's a lot of weight, because there's
Yeah.
so many people
So
that are fake,
expectations, isn't
Yeah.
there?
that are no
Lot of
longer
expect-
around you,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you are your person.
Yeah.
You've seen
Found
everything
you-
for what
who
it
you
is,
really are.
and then you're at peace. And I think that is where Mike Tyson is. And when you're at peace, things fall in naturally
Yes.
anyway. So look, he's doing a lot of talk shows in America,
Yes, yes.
to which he gets paid for them.
Yes.
And you know, he's host, he's got his own, you know, show where he does a bit of whatever, like comedy, to
Yes,
be able
yeah.
to generate some money. So, but
And he's like an expert analyst
Yeah.
at major fights.
that's
you know,
right.
And probably the most world famous name.
Yeah, Mike
of
Tyson's
our-
world
of our
famous.
generation.
Yeah,
Of
yeah, of
course.
course.
But you know, like I said, he's so grounded now. But
That's right.
and he puts a lot of
A
the
lot of life
emphasis.
experiences, isn't it,
But you know,
really?
he
Yeah.
says, I have a partner in my life who's taught me about what the important things in life are. And he goes, I couldn't be more content. You know, and I
Yeah.
think it's that kind of signposting. Someone's given him, you know, like
Yeah,
the
the
right keypad
Yeah.
with the right buttons. That he's so calm. And he is interesting. He was saying to Ricky Hatton, he goes, Ricky, man, I still think you can be world champion now. Because Ricky said, no, I've done my time. he goes, no, he goes, I'm telling you, Ricky, you've still got it, man. He goes, you've still got it. You know. But also, you know what he said? Because Ricky Hatton was talking about how, you know, as part of his journey in life, he doesn't talk to his parents anymore. And you know, Mike Tyson.
That's sad.
Yeah,
That's sad to
that's
know,
exactly what
isn't
Mike
it?
Tyson said.
Yeah.
And Mike goes, listen, man. He goes, whatever your beef
Let
with your
go,
parents,
yeah.
he goes, you got to let go, man. That's what he
Yeah.
said. He goes, life is too short. Life is too short. And he goes, whoever's wrong, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because Ricky, you be the bigger man,
Yeah.
but you should not stop talking to
To
your
your
parents.
parents.
That's right.
You know, but you know, for Mike Tyson to be saying that, you know, with his upbringing
Yeah,
on the street
yeah,
and in care,
Yeah.
you know, it just shows.
Turn around.
Yeah.
So it just shows you could just turn your life around easily.
And it's not
that's
about
your
the money.
Thinking.
Because when he had money, people used to go into Sunset Boulevard. You know, there's a famous story. He used to go to the Georgia Marlin shop, and he had 50 people, 50 people, and they all left with Georgia, 5-6 bags in each hand, all of them paid by Mike Tyson,
Yeah.
just before his
And
credit
when it
card.
goes into clubs,
Yeah,
there's more than 100 people, to the point where look,
Yeah.
they say, look, we don't really want you to be coming here.
yeah,
Not because we don't like you, but we got too much crowd.
Yeah.
yeah.
That does
Attracts a
happen.
lot of people.
There's a lot of hangers on.
Yeah.
And,
But surely also, it shows the full circle of life.
Of course.
That you know, you go through this life sometimes chasing money,
Yeah.
you know, chasing
and you miss the
valuables.
important things.
Yes, yes.
So it's life, Earth is, or the universe is it's a school, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we're all every single day we're learning. So with Mike Tyson, he's obviously learned his lessons, hasn't he? His experiences, and that's kind of made him the person he is today.
That's right.
And you have to have those challenges in your life to kind of come out the other end. You got to have those challenges. If you don't have those challenges, how are you going to learn?
Yeah.
You're not going to learn. If you've got it always, you know, fantastically rosy clear, you're not going to learn anything. You've got to have those challenges to kind of make you a better person, but help you grow. That's how you grow in challenges. When there's a storm, you grow.
But through guidance, someone can avoid all those type of, you know,
Basic errors.
yeah, basic errors, yeah? And that is where your service is invaluable
Yeah.
to people, because
Absolutely.
you are not just addressing the issue of the marriage or issues within the marriage, you are actually looking at the root causes
Yes.
and helping them to identify that those issues
Yes.
need to be addressed before they can move on
Absolutely.
to a better relationship.
Yeah.
And dare I say, if I can have the final word, it's like having the driving instructor in the car again. if you don't press the right buttons and don't turn the right key, you're going to crash.
Yeah.
That's
And,
right.
and what you're saying, Sonny, if you got someone, an expert who can avoid the crashes,
That's right.
then you can have a much calmer journey.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
I'm always happy to help.
Yeah. Well, Tranjeet, Sonny, it's been lovely having
Thank
you on
you.
the Purish program today.
Thank you for
And I
having
look
us.
forward to catching up with both of you every week.
Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Roger.
And my heart